are two different ways to make solutions. One is whenever you have a stock solution, that means that it's a more concentrated solution, and you want to water it down so that it will have the concentration that you want it to have. So the formula to do that, so for example, if I have a stock solution, it's going to be like this box where there's a lot more solute, and you want to water it down and turn it into that box. So if we look at the first question on your Cornell notes, then we need a formula to be able to do this. The formula is just the molarity, 1 times its volume, is going to equal to molarity 2 times its volume, because what happens is when you water it down, I don't change the number of moles of my solute, I just change its concentration. So if we look at the first practice question, it lets us know that we have a 5 molar solution of HCl that I want to water down. So that would be like the box that has a lot more dots in it. And then I want to water it down to become a 2 molar solution. So to go through that process, we're going to decide who is M1 and who is V1 and so on. So when we take a look at the 5 molar, it's bigger. It's my stock solution, but I don't know its volume. So I'm going to call that M1, but the how many milliliters is going to be my V1, because I want to know they kind of go together. And so the other one I'm going to call M2, and its volume is going to be V2. So this usually will work most times if you take your stock solution and make it M1. That's a 5 molar solution. V1 is my unknown, and then M2, 2 molar, and then V2, 100 milliliters. It's okay to work this problem in milliliters because they both will come out in milliliters. So I need to solve for V1. To do that, I need to move this 5 molar. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5 molar. My little saying, if it's on top, it's going to move to the basement on the other side. The 5 molars will cancel out. And if you work this out, if I do 2 molar times 100 and divide that by 5, I end up with 40 milliliters. Because notice the molarities cancel. So, but that's really not my answer, because the answer is, well, this one does answer the how many milliliters, but often I'm going to ask you, how would you make this? Well, notice that it's an acid, so I have to take my 40 milliliters of 5 molar HCl, and I need to add that to, well, I know I want a total of 100, so I have 40 milliliters, so I'm going to add it to 60 milliliters of water. So I have to go in that order because we always have to put acid into the water. So that's that first one. That's when we are watering down from a stock solution. But for the next question, we're going to actually start off with a solid. And what I want to do is add it to the water. It's going to actually take up some extra space, and then I'll have my solution. And so in that process, we need to know how much of this solid I need to add. So that one, we need to work a little bit differently. So what are we going to do for there is we're going to, again, just kind of start at the molarity formula. And so we know that molarity times liters equals moles. Now, how do I know that? Well, if we kind of go back to our molarity formula, molarity is moles over liters. So if I move the liter up, I get molarity times liter is moles. So that's where that comes from. Well, now we know moles. Well, we know if anytime I know the mole, I jump on the mole wheel, and mole times molar mass will get me grams. So we're just going to go through, and if we combine those two formulas together, so that gives me my mole, so I get molarity times liters times molar mass equals grams. You can work it in 2 steps, or you can just plug it all in. So this is the easiest thing to do. So I'm looking for how many grams, and then I know it's NaOH. So if I go and I look up NaOH, I know I'm going to need it because I know I need molar mass. So I have 23 plus 16 plus 1. So I know the molar mass of NaOH is 40 grams. It tells me that I want 500 milliliters. Well, we need to do that quick little polka step, 1, 2, 3 to the left, to get it to liters. And I know the molarity. So then I really just have to plug that in. So we come down here again to that molarity times liters times molar mass equals grams. So my molarity, back in my problem, was 0.2. My liters was 0.5. And my molar mass was 40. So if we work all this out, we end up with 4 grams of NaOH. And again, that answers the question, but it doesn't tell me how to make it. So how would I make it? I'm going to take 4 grams of NaOH. I'm going to add to a flask, really what's called a volumetric flask, and fill to the 500 milliliter line. Because I don't want 500 mils of water, I want 500 mils total solution. So that's how we do dilutions and make solutions.